Admiral James Thornton stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching as the Galactic Council's emissary materialized before him. The alien figure, towering and imposing, delivered its message with chilling clarity. Earth must submit and provide tribute or face obliteration. Thornton, a veteran of countless space missions, felt a surge of defiance. His keen blue eyes never wavered as he studied the emissary. The decision ahead was not just about survival. It was about the future of humanity. In the war room. In the war room below, Earth's leaders gathered, their faces a mix of fear and determination. The room hummed with anxious conversations. Prime Minister David Harper, known for his calm under pressure, called the meeting to order. "We must discuss our response," Harper began, his voice steady. "Admiral Thornton, what are our options?" Thornton stepped forward, commanding the room's attention. "We have two choices: surrender and become vassals, or fight and defend our sovereignty. I believe we should resist. We have the technology and the strategic advantage to mount a formidable defense." Strategic planning. Lieutenant Sarah Connor, Thornton's second-in-command, nodded in agreement. Known for her tactical acumen, she had already begun analyzing potential battle strategies. "We can leverage our advanced stealth capabilities and hit their supply lines. Guerrilla tactics will be our strength." Dr. Rovul Patel, the chief engineer, leaned in. "Our new energy shields and propulsion systems give us a significant edge. We can withstand their initial assault and strike back where they least expect it." Harper weighed the counsel of his advisors and the risks involved. Thornton's jaw tightened. "But the alternative is slavery," he said, his voice resolute. "The decision to fight." The room fell silent as each member pondered the gravity of the decision. Finally, Harper spoke. "We fight. Mobilize the fleet, and may our resolve be stronger than their arrogance." As orders were relayed, the atmosphere shifted from uncertainty to purpose. Thornton returned to the bridge, where the crew was already preparing for the impending conflict. The stars outside the viewport seemed to glint with a newfound intensity, as if aware of the battle about to unfold. Addressing the crew, Thornton took a moment to address his crew. "We are facing a powerful enemy, but we are not alone. Each one of you is vital to this mission. Remember, we fight not just for Earth, but for our right to exist as free beings in this universe." The crew responded with a unified, determined nod. Thornton's words carried the weight of history and the promise of tomorrow. The battle begins. As the fleet moved into formation, sensors began to detect the approach of the Council's vanguard. The tension on the bridge escalated, but Thornton's voice remained calm. "Prepare for engagement. All hands to battle stations." The ships, sleek and bristling with weaponry, took their positions. The vastness of space was about to become a battleground, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. First contact. Thornton's strategic mind wavered as he issued commands, each move calculated to counter the alien threat. As the enemy ships appeared on the horizon, shimmering ominously, Thornton's gaze hardened. He knew that the coming hours would test their mettle in ways they had never imagined. Yet he felt a quiet confidence. Humanity had faced existential threats before and had always found a way to endure. "Incoming transmission," announced the communications officer. The emissary's face reappeared, smirking. "Your defiance is noted. Prepare to be annihilated." Thornton cut the transmission with a flick of his hand. "All units, engage on my mark." The first salvo of missiles streaked through the void, marking the beginning of humanity's stand against the Galactic Council. Ferocious intensity. Explosions lit up the darkness, and the battle commenced with ferocious intensity. In the chaos of the skirmish, Lieutenant Connor's voice cut through the comms. "Admiral, the flagship is taking heavy fire. We need to adjust our tactics." Thornton nodded, quickly recalculating. "Deploy the stealth fighters. Target their command ship. We need to disrupt their coordination." As the stealth fighters launched, cloaked and nearly invisible, Thornton watched the tactical display with laser focus. The initial clash was brutal, but humanity's resilience began to show. The enemy was powerful, but they had underestimated the ingenuity and determination of the human spirit. A colossal threat. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the flagship. The deck shuddered beneath Thornton's feet, but he remained steady. "Damage report," he commanded. "Critical hit to the aft section," came the reply. "We're losing power. Redirect all available power to shields and weapons," Thornton commanded. "We hold the line here." Just as it seemed the tide was turning in their favor, a colossal alien battleship appeared out of hyperspace, dwarfing anything they had seen before. "Brace for impact," Thornton shouted, as the new threat loomed large on the horizon. The flagship shuddered as the colossal alien battleship loomed large on the view screen. "All hands, brace for impact," Thornton ordered, his voice steady despite the imminent threat. The bridge crews sprang into action, their movements precise and rehearsed. Analyzing the new adversary. Lieutenant Sarah Connor quickly analyzed the new adversary. "Admiral, their ship is equipped with advanced shielding and multiple weapons arrays. We need to outmaneuver them." "Agreed," Thornton replied. "Helm, evasive maneuvers. Weapons, prepare to fire on my mark." As the human fleet engaged, the void was filled with beams of light and exploding debris. The alien battleship unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, shaking the smaller human ships. Thornton's mind raced through possible tactics. "Dr. Patel, any updates on our new energy shields?" Thornton asked, hoping for a technological edge. "Shields are holding, but barely," Dr. Patel reported from engineering. "We can maintain current levels for now, but if they intensify their attack, we'll be in trouble." "Understood. Lieutenant Connor, initiate countermeasures and deploy decoys. We need to confuse their targeting systems." Connor nodded, her fingers flying over the controls. Dozens of decoy drones launched from the human ships, creating a field of false targets. The alien weapons faltered momentarily, thrown off. "Now all units focus fire on their shield generators," Thornton commanded. Coordinated beams of energy and missile fire converged on the designated target. The alien shields flared, struggling to absorb the assault. On the tactical display, the enemy ship's defenses began to flicker. Thornton seized the opportunity. "Full attack. Concentrate all firepower." The combined might of the human fleet broke through the alien shielding, and several direct hits landed on the enemy hull. Explosions rippled across the alien ship, sending debris spiraling into space. Victory and sacrifice. "Admiral, their main weapon systems are down," Connor reported, a hint of triumph in her voice. "Good work, everyone," Thornton said, allowing himself a brief moment of relief. "But we're not out of this yet. Dr. Patel, how's the fleet holding up?" "Minor damage to most ships, but we've lost 2 destroyers," Patel replied. "Casualty reports are coming in." Thornton felt the weight of each loss but pushed forward. "Prepare for a second wave. The Council won't give up this easily." As if on cue, sensors picked up more enemy ships dropping out of hyperspace. This time, smaller, faster craft designed for close combat swarmed the human fleet, weaving through defensive fire with agility. "Adjust formation. Protect our flanks," Thornton barked. "Connor, take charge of the fighter squadrons and repel those interceptors." Connor relayed the orders, and human fighters surged forward to meet the enemy head-on. The battle intensified, with dogfights erupting across the field. Pilots displayed extraordinary skill, evading enemy fire and striking back with precision. The final push. Thornton's focus never wavered. He coordinated the fleet's movements, anticipating the enemy's tactics. His experience and intuition kept the human ships one step ahead. But the battle was far from over. "Admiral, detecting unusual energy signatures from the alien flagship," the sensor officer reported. "It looks like they're charging a massive weapon." "All ships, prepare for impact," Thornton shouted. The alien weapon fired a blinding beam of energy, cutting through space. Thornton's flagship took the brunt of the blast, alarms blaring as systems overloaded. Damage report, Thornton commanded. Multiple systems failing. We're losing control, came the reply. Hold the line, Thornton ordered, his voice unwavering. For humanity. The battle raged on, with the human fleet fighting with every ounce of strength and ingenuity they possessed. They were pushed to their limits, but they refused to break. The fate of Earth and the future of humanity depended on their resolve. And as the stars burned brightly above, Admiral Thornton knew that no matter the outcome, humanity's spirit would never be extinguished. The fight for sovereignty. The struggle continues. Admiral Thornton surveyed the battlefield, the dark void of space punctuated by flashes of light and explosions. The initial engagement had tested their resolve, but now they faced a relentless onslaught from the Galactic Council's forces. The human fleet was holding, but just barely. Admiral, enemy reinforcements incoming, Lieutenant Sarah Connor reported. Her tactical display lit up with new enemy signatures. Understood. Helm, evasive maneuvers. All ships maintain defensive formations, Thornton commanded, his voice steady. We can't let them break through our lines. A desperate situation. Dr. Rahul Patel's voice crackled over the comms from engineering. Admiral, our shields are failing. We need to redistribute power, or we won't last much longer. Do what you need to, Dr. Patel, Thornton replied. We'll buy you as much time as we can. On the bridge, the crew worked with grim determination. They had trained for this, but the reality of facing such a powerful enemy was daunting. Yet, amidst the chaos, they found strength in each other's resolve. Rallying the troops, Thornton knew that maintaining morale was as crucial as any tactical maneuver. All hands, this is Admiral Thornton. We are humanity's last line of defense. Remember, we fight for our homes, our families, and our future. Stand firm, and let's show them what we're made of. His words echoed through the ships, bolstering the spirits of the crew. Each soldier, engineer, and pilot felt the weight of their duty, but also the pride of defending their world. Tactical brilliance. Lieutenant Connor's tactical brilliance shone as she orchestrated counterattacks. Admiral, I've identified a weakness in their formation. If we hit their flanks, we can create an opening. Good work, Connor. Execute your plan, Thornton replied. All units, follow Lieutenant Connor's lead. Focus fire on the enemy's flanks. As human ships concentrated their attacks, the enemy formation began to waver. Explosions rippled through the Galactic Council's fleet, and for a moment, hope flickered in the hearts of the defenders. A new threat emerges. But the battle was far from over. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a massive energy surge. Admiral, they're deploying a new weapon, the sensor officer warned. It's massive. All ships, brace for impact, Thornton ordered. The alien weapon fired, and a colossal beam of energy sliced through space, targeting the human fleet. Thornton's flagship took a direct hit, the ship shuddering violently. Systems overloaded and alarms blared. Damage report, he commanded. Severe damage to multiple decks. We're losing power, came the reply. Adapt and overcome. Thornton's mind raced. They had to adapt, or they would be destroyed. Dr. Patel, can we reroute power to the shields? It's risky, but I'll make it happen, Patel replied, already working on the solution. Connor, initiate evasive maneuvers. We need to buy Dr. Patel some time, Thornton commanded. As the flagship maneuvered, the crew held their breath. The alien weapon fired again, but this time, the shields held, albeit barely. The fleet regrouped, ready to continue the fight. Human ingenuity. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comms. Admiral, I've managed to stabilize the shields, but we need to take out that weapon. Agreed. All units, focus fire on the enemy's main weapon, Thornton ordered. The human fleet converged their attacks on the colossal alien battleship. Beams of energy and missile fire targeted the massive weapon, which began to falter under the sustained assault. Finally, a massive explosion rocked the alien ship as the weapon's power core detonated, turning the tide. Cheers erupted on the bridge as the enemy's main weapon was destroyed. "Well done, everyone," Thornton said, allowing himself a moment of relief. "But we're not done yet. Stay alert." The battle continued, with human ships pushing forward, exploiting the enemy's weakened state. Thornton coordinated the fleet's movements, each maneuver precise and calculated. Victory at a cost. As the battle raged on, the human fleet gradually gained the upper hand. The Galactic Council's forces began to retreat, their once unbreakable formation shattered. But the victory came at a cost. "Admiral, we've lost several ships," Connor reported, her voice heavy with the weight of the fallen. Thornton nodded, his expression somber. "We will honor their sacrifice. They fought bravely, and their courage will not be forgotten." A moment of respite. As the enemy retreated, the human fleet regrouped. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Thornton knew that the Galactic Council would not give up easily. "Prime Minister Harper, the immediate threat has been neutralized, but we must remain vigilant," Thornton reported. "Understood, Admiral. You've done humanity proud today," Harper replied. "We'll begin preparations for the next phase. We must be ready for whatever comes next." Hope and determination. Thornton addressed his crew one final time. "Today, we showed the Galactic Council that humanity will not be intimidated. We will fight for our freedom, no matter the cost. Rest now, for the battle is won, but the war continues. Together, we will prevail." As the fleet set a course for home, the stars once again shone brightly in the void of space. Humanity had faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious, if only for a moment. But in that moment, they found hope and determination, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A new alliance. Unlikely allies. In the aftermath of the battle, Admiral Thornton convened with Earth's leaders to discuss their next steps. The victory had been hard-won, and the Galactic Council's forces were sure to return with even greater strength. Prime Minister Harper, ever the strategist, proposed a bold idea. "We need allies," Harper stated. "The Galactic Council has many enemies. It's time we seek out those who are also under their oppression and form an alliance." "The search begins." Thornton nodded in agreement. "I'll take a task force and begin diplomatic missions. We need to find those who are willing to join us in this fight." With the plan set, Thornton assembled a team of diplomats, scientists, and military advisors. Lieutenant Sarah Connor and Dr. Rahul Patel were among them, ready to lend their expertise to the mission. First contact. Their first destination was the planet of Zilar, home to a technologically advanced but oppressed species known as the Zilari. The Zilari had long been under the thumb of the Galactic Council, and Thornton hoped they would be willing to join forces. As the task force's ship approached Zilar, they were greeted with caution. The Zilari leader, Chancellor Ilara, appeared on the view screen. "State your purpose," she demanded, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. A plea for unity. Thornton stepped forward. "Chancellor Ilara, we are here to seek an alliance. The Galactic Council demands our submission, just as they have demanded yours. Together, we can stand against them." Ilara's expression softened slightly. "Why should we trust you? How do we know you won't betray us as the Council has?" Building trust. Lieutenant Connor spoke up, her voice sincere. "We are fighting for our freedom, just as you are. We have no interest in conquering or subjugating others. We seek only to live in peace and liberty." Ilara considered their words carefully. "Very well. We will hear you out. Come to the surface, and we shall discuss this further." A promising alliance. On the surface of Zilar, the task force met with Chancellor Ilara and her council. The discussions were intense, but eventually, a mutual understanding was reached. The Zilari agreed to join forces with humanity, recognizing the strength in unity. "We will fight alongside you," Ilara declared. "Together, We will show the Galactic Council that we are not to be underestimated. A growing coalition. With the Zilari as their allies, Thornton's task force continued their diplomatic mission. They traveled to other worlds, seeking out those who had suffered under the Galactic Council's rule. Each new alliance strengthened their coalition, building a formidable force against their common enemy. Challenges ahead. But the road was not without challenges. Not all species were eager to join the fight. Some were wary, fearing retribution from the Council. Thornton and his team had to navigate delicate negotiations, balancing diplomacy with the urgency of their mission. A united front. Despite the obstacles, the coalition grew. Species from all corners of the galaxy came together, united by a common goal. They shared their technology, resources, and strategic knowledge, creating a diverse and powerful alliance. Preparing for war. Back on Earth, the fleet prepared for the next inevitable confrontation. Dr. Patel worked tirelessly to integrate the new technologies from their allies into the human ships, enhancing their capabilities. Prime Minister Harper coordinated with the leaders of the allied species, planning joint operations and strategies. The sense of purpose and camaraderie was palpable as everyone understood the stakes. The calm before the storm. As the final preparations were made, Thornton took a moment to reflect on the journey so far. They had come a long way, but the real battle was yet to come. He knew that the Galactic Council would not be easily defeated, but he also knew that they had a fighting chance. A message of hope. Thornton addressed the coalition's assembled forces. Today, we stand united against tyranny. We fight not just for our own freedom, but for the freedom of all who have suffered under the Galactic Council's rule. Together, we are stronger. Together, we will prevail. The response was a resounding cheer, echoing through the ranks. Hope and determination filled the hearts of those ready to fight for their future. The Battle of Titans. The Galactic Council strikes back. The calm was short-lived. The Galactic Council, enraged by the growing resistance, launched a massive offensive. Their fleet, larger and more powerful than before, descended upon the Allied forces with ruthless precision. A desperate defense. Admiral Thornton and the Coalition's fleet were ready. They had prepared for this moment, but the sheer scale of the enemy's assault was staggering. Ships clashed in the void of space, beams of energy and explosions lighting up the darkness. All units, hold the line, Thornton commanded. We cannot let them break through. Strategic maneuvers. Lieutenant Connor's voice was calm but urgent. Admiral, we need to split their forces. If we can draw them into a trap, we can reduce their numbers. Agreed, Thornton replied. Execute the plan. All units, follow Lieutenant Connor's lead. The Coalition's fleet executed a series of maneuvers, drawing the Galactic Council's ships into a carefully laid trap. As the enemy forces pursued, they found themselves surrounded and under heavy fire. Turning the tide. Dr. Patel's enhancements to the fleet's shields and weapons proved invaluable. Human ships, now bolstered by their allies' technology, withstood the enemy's assault and struck back with devastating force. Admiral, their formation is breaking, Connor reported. We have a chance to push them back. All units, press the attack, Thornton commanded. Let's show them the strength of our alliance. Heroic sacrifices. The battle raged on, with both sides taking heavy losses. Heroes emerged in the heat of combat, pilots and soldiers performing acts of incredible bravery. Lieutenant Connor led a daring raid on the enemy's flagship, crippling its command structure. A critical moment. As the battle reached its peak, a new threat emerged. The Galactic Council's flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons, entered the fray. It was a symbol of their power and a dire threat to the Coalition. Admiral, that ship is heavily armored, Connor warned. We'll need everything we've got to take it down. The final assault. Thornton knew this was the critical moment. All units, focus all firepower on the enemy flagship. We take it down, or we lose everything. The Coalition's ships converged on the dreadnought, unleashing a torrent of firepower. The enemy ship's shields flared, struggling to withstand the onslaught. The battle was fierce, but the determination of the Allied forces was unwavering. Victory and loss. Finally, with a colossal explosion, the Galactic Council's flagship was destroyed. The enemy fleet, now leaderless and in disarray, began to retreat. Cheers erupted across the coalition's ships, but the victory was bittersweet. Many lives had been lost, and the cost of the battle was heavy. Honoring the fallen. As the smoke cleared, Thornton addressed the coalition. Today, we have achieved a great victory, but we must never forget the sacrifices made to achieve it. We honor those who have fallen, and we continue the fight in their memory. The coalition's forces, though battered, stood united. The Galactic Council had been dealt a significant blow, but the war was not over. Thornton knew that the path ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that they had the strength to persevere. A new hope. As the Allied forces regrouped, a sense of hope filled the air. They had proven that unity and determination could overcome even the greatest of challenges. And with that hope, they prepared for the next chapter in their fight for freedom. The path to liberation. Rebuilding and strategizing. In the aftermath of the Battle of Titans, the coalition forces regrouped and began the arduous task of rebuilding. The victory had come at a high cost, and the Allied species needed time to recover and strengthen their defenses. Admiral Thornton, Prime Minister Harper, and Chancellor Ilara convened to discuss their next steps. "We need to capitalize on this victory," Harper said. "The Galactic Council is weakened, but they will not remain so for long." Strengthening the alliance. Chancellor Ilara nodded. "We must continue to seek out new allies. The more species we bring into the coalition, the stronger we become." Thornton agreed. "I'll lead another diplomatic mission. We need to find those who are still on the fence and convince them to join us." Diplomatic successes. The task force set out once more, visiting planets and systems that had yet to commit to the fight. They spoke of the victory at the Battle of Titans, using it as a symbol of hope and resilience. Slowly but surely, more species joined the coalition, swelling their ranks and resources. Technological advancements. Dr. Rahul Patel and his team worked tirelessly to integrate the new technologies from their allies into the coalition's fleet. Advanced weaponry, enhanced shields, and innovative propulsion systems gave them a significant edge. The combined knowledge of the diverse species created a formidable technological powerhouse. Training and preparation. Back on Earth and the Allied worlds, training programs intensified. Soldiers, pilots, and engineers honed their skills, preparing for the inevitable return of the Galactic Council's forces. The sense of purpose and determination was palpable, as everyone understood the stakes. A new threat. As the coalition forces strengthened, intelligence reports indicated that the Galactic Council was regrouping. They were developing new weapons and strategies, preparing for a massive counteroffensive. The coalition knew they had to strike first. Planning the offensive. Prime Minister Harper and Chancellor Ilara worked closely with Admiral Thornton and his military advisors to develop a plan. "We need to take the fight to them," Harper stated. "We can't afford to wait for them to attack us again." Thornton nodded. "Agreed. We need to target their command centers and disrupt their operations. If we can take out their leadership, we can cripple their ability to wage war." The invasion of Axian. The coalition's target was the planet Axian, a key stronghold of the Galactic Council. It was heavily fortified, but its fall would be a significant blow to the enemy. The plan was bold and risky, but it was their best chance to turn the tide of the war. Launching the assault. The coalition fleet gathered in orbit around Axian, ready to launch the assault. Admiral Thornton addressed the assembled forces. "Today, we strike at the heart of our enemy. This is our chance to deal a decisive blow. Fight with everything you have. For freedom, for our future." With that, the fleet descended on Axian. The skies above the planet lit up with the fire of battle as ships clashed and ground forces landed. The fight was intense, with both sides displaying incredible bravery and determination. Breaking through. Lieutenant Connor led a daring raid on the enemy's main command center. Her tactical acumen and leadership were instrumental in breaking through the enemy's defenses. Dr. Patel's technological innovations gave the coalition troops a critical advantage, allowing them to penetrate the heavily fortified positions. Victory on Axian. After hours of fierce fighting, the coalition forces captured Axian. The Galactic Council's command structure was in disarray, and their ability to coordinate their forces was severely compromised. It was a significant victory, and the morale of the coalition forces soared. A turning point. The fall of Axian marked a turning point in the war. The Galactic Council, once seen as invincible, was now vulnerable. The coalition had proven that they could strike at the heart of their enemy and win. A message to the galaxy. Admiral Thornton addressed the galaxy. Today, we have shown that tyranny can be defeated. The Galactic Council's reign of oppression is coming to an end. To all who seek freedom, join us. Together, we will build a future where all species can live in peace and liberty. The message resonated across the stars, inspiring hope in countless hearts. The coalition's victory at Axian was more than a military success. It was a beacon of hope for all who yearned for freedom. The final push. Consolidating power. With Axian secured, the coalition forces consolidated their power. They fortified their positions, ensuring that the Galactic Council could not reclaim the planet. Supplies and reinforcements flowed in from allied worlds, strengthening their resolve. Admiral Thornton, Prime Minister Harper, and Chancellor Ilara met to discuss their next moves. "We need to keep the pressure on," Harper said. "The Galactic Council is reeling, but they will regroup." Targeting the Council's strongholds. Thornton nodded. "Our next targets should be their remaining strongholds. We need to dismantle their infrastructure and cripple their ability to wage war." Chancellor Ilara agreed. "We must be relentless. Every victory brings us closer to liberation." The battle for Zithra. The next target was the planet Zithra, another key stronghold of the Galactic Council. The coalition fleet, now even larger and more formidable, prepared for the assault. The stakes were higher than ever, but the determination to win was unshakable. A united front. As the fleet approached Zithra, Admiral Thornton addressed the forces. "Today, we take another step toward freedom. We fight for all who have suffered under the Council's rule. Stay strong, stay united, and we will prevail." The battle was fierce, with the Galactic Council throwing everything they had into the defense of Zithra. But the coalition's unity and determination proved to be their greatest strengths. They fought with a relentless spirit, pushing the enemy back. Victory at a cost. After a brutal and grueling battle, Zithra fell to the coalition. The Galactic Council's forces were in disarray, their morale shattered. The victory came at a cost, with many brave soldiers lost. But it was a decisive blow to the enemy's power. The path to liberation. With each victory, the coalition grew stronger and more determined. They liberated planet after planet, dismantling the Galactic Council's grip on the galaxy. The enemy was on the run, their once mighty empire crumbling. A new era. As the war drew to a close, Admiral Thornton and the coalition leaders met to discuss the future. "We have achieved what many thought impossible," Thornton said. "But our work is not yet done. We must ensure that the peace we have fought for endures." Prime Minister Harper nodded. "We need to establish a new order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect. The galaxy has suffered enough under tyranny." A Galactic Council of Unity. Chancellor Ilara proposed the formation of a new Galactic Council, one that represented all species and worked for the common good. The idea was embraced by the coalition leaders, who saw it as a way to ensure lasting peace. Rebuilding and healing. As the galaxy transitioned to a new era of peace and unity, efforts were made to rebuild and heal. Worlds devastated by war were restored, and the bonds between species were strengthened. The coalition's victory had not just freed the galaxy, It had forged a new path forward, a message of hope. Admiral Thornton addressed the galaxy one final time. Today, we stand on the brink of a new era. We have proven that unity and determination can overcome even the greatest of challenges. Let us build a future where all species can live in peace and prosperity. Together, we will create a galaxy where freedom and justice prevail. A new dawn. The dawn of a new era. The war was over, and the galaxy was finally at peace. The new Galactic Council, representing all species, worked tirelessly to ensure that the horrors of the past would never be repeated. Admiral Thornton, Prime Minister Harper, and Chancellor Ilara played key roles in shaping this new era, a legacy of unity. The Coalition's legacy was one of unity and resilience. The galaxy had faced an existential threat and had emerged stronger for it. The bonds forged in the crucible of war became the foundation for a brighter future. Reconciliation and growth. Efforts were made to reconcile with former enemies and integrate them into the new order. The wounds of war took time to heal, but the spirit of cooperation and mutual respect prevailed. The galaxy entered a period of unprecedented growth and prosperity, honoring the fallen. Monuments were erected on planets across the galaxy to honor those who had sacrificed their lives for freedom. Admiral Thornton and his allies ensured that the bravery and courage of the fallen would never be forgotten. A message to future generations. Thornton addressed the galaxy once more, this time with a message for future generations. Remember the lessons of our struggle. Unity and determination can overcome any challenge. Cherish the peace we have fought for, and work to ensure that it endures for all time. A galaxy reborn. The new Galactic Council ushered in an era of peace and cooperation. The galaxy, once torn apart by war, was now a beacon of hope and unity. Species from all corners of the galaxy worked together, sharing knowledge and resources for the common good. The spirit of exploration. With peace restored, the spirit of exploration was rekindled. The galaxy's wonders, both known and unknown, beckoned to be discovered. The Coalition's ships, once instruments of war, now embarked on missions of exploration and discovery. A bright future. As the stars shone brightly in the vast expanse of space, the galaxy looked forward to a future filled with promise and potential. The Coalition's victory had not just secured freedom, it had paved the way for a new dawn. Admiral Thornton, Prime Minister Harper, and Chancellor Ilara stood together, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. They had faced impossible odds and had emerged victorious. And now, they would lead the galaxy into a future where peace, unity, and prosperity reigned. Conclusion. The story of the Galactic Council's demands